meeting yesterday with the Joint Development Authority and the county commissioners, and I don't know when that new road is going to be open, so, but Mosley and DOT is going to work with us again to let that hang out. We are finishing as we speak. Well, no, really, we're going to finish tomorrow. I think we're going to finish that tomorrow, Jeff?
Last one tomorrow.
Last one tomorrow. So we are finally getting all of our other big work done, and we can submit this application. If you've read this, we've got an increase this year up to $72,000 and something dollars. So we will come up with enough streets throughout the city that all of us will decide on. All of us will get together and make decisions about what we want to put on the 218 Lamig. So I would ask you to, if you can, in the next day or two, because now we are approaching the deadline on getting all this submitted. So if you would, make a list of the streets that you think, and then we'll have to take everybody's wishes and come up with enough to come up with that $72,000 and get our Lamig program for next year worked out. Other than that, Ms. Grace, don't you think if they do that, we can finish the rest of it?
Yes, sir, if we can get the list returned back to me by December 1st, so that you can all have it to review in work session for next month, approve it that following Thursday, because this paperwork has to be back in the office by December the 31st, or we do not qualify to get it.
And we can't lose that, you know, so I don't think we'll have any problem. But we're just now getting to the point that we could do this. And Mr. Mosley, Brent and I are friends. He's known about this. He needs to work with us. Any questions or statements concerning?
What's the last one?
Recreation.
Talking about the new library.
The Stadium Street, I think it's the name of it.
Recreation.
It's by the new library.
Okay.
Same
Yeah, it
street.
is. No, that was, I rode mine today. I took the list that I made last year, and I already have mine done, so I'll get it to you tomorrow probably. Yeah.
But
But I'm glad to know you're doing that, because I'm getting complaints on it. Big time.
yeah, it's gonna be done tomorrow. And we've had a time to get everything where we can do this. Everybody just take and look at your district and, or anywhere, I don't care where it is. Look and see what you think we ought to do. Remember, when we do get it in, we'll take the big Jeff and I will get together and we'll come up with a program to handle the $72,000 and we'll submit it. Okay, anything else on that? I think we're satisfied on that. Okay, Scooch, I think we're ready for you again. All right.
Gentlemen, on the 6th of this month, the zoning board held a meeting concerning the request by Mr. Ray Wooten. Mr. Wooten owns a piece of property at the corner of Fraser Street and Curry Street. This is the last piece of property down by the railroad track. Mr. Wooten requested that we change it, which is listed now as residential R3, and he requested that we change it to commercial. He wants to put some storage buildings up there. The zoning board approved this request, gentlemen, and now we bring it before this panel.
As I understand it, gentlemen, the zoning board again has jumped through all the loops. They posted it, proper notification has been made, and the zoning board has recommended to us that we approve the request. In fact, the building inspector and me, and I think some of you have been involved in it too, have almost anticipated that you're going to approve this, and we told them that nothing could be stood up until this was done, but we're beginning to move in this direction. So I hope you'll approve this. I entertain a motion we approve the rezoning that the chairman of the zoning committee has stated to you.
I'll make a motion to approve the zoning commission. Second.
Motion made by Mr. Bloodworth, seconded by Mr. Purser. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I call for the vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Mr. Chairman, you did a good job. Thank you, now. All right. Mr. Attorney, I believe you've got something on this. This is relative to a joint project out on 341.
As we talked about in the work session, the Athletic Association wanted a letter of commitment from the city to its participation with the county, and I have that letter prepared tonight for the mayor's signature on the council's approval. It basically just says that I read it, said, please accept this letter on behalf of the Hazlehurst City Council and the city's commitment to the proceeding in a joint effort with Jeff Davis County to revitalize the old recreation park and property for use by the citizens of Jeff Davis County should your organization approve such usage. As previously discussed in a meeting with Judge Wilson, Mr. Roberts, the city will be responsible for the construction and maintenance of $185,000 splash pad and will split the cost with the county for the construction of a new playground, the revitalization of the existing bathrooms and the concession stand. Based upon discussion with members of the county commission, the city will be responsible for the maintenance of the playground equipment and bathrooms. The county will be responsible for maintaining the grounds, including all grass cuttings. Additionally, in consideration of your concern regarding location of the splash pad, the city is in agreement that the splash pad will be relocated to a location closer to Old Green Road. Should you have any questions or concerns, please let us know.
You see, gentlemen, this is prepared for my signature. I will be more than happy to sign it upon your approval. Any discussion?
Yeah, I served on that committee for a short time, and then, I asked Eric to come to place, and, I realized that we were using that SPOS money for the splash pad, but what are we using to do the bathroom? This is the first I've heard about bathroom and concession stand.
Well, all I think we're going to do, Tommy, is paint and have our people to make sure that the.
But we use general fund money?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I hope it's not much. Any further discussion? Entertain a motion, we'll just make sure the discussion is over now. Got any questions about this?
I think we need to get this started in high gear so we can have it by at least next spring, so we can get something rolling with it.
I think with us doing this part, Eric, that you're talking about, and the county commissioners getting that facility down on the corner with the farmer's market and what they're gonna do down there, I think our citizens will be right proud of us with the joint effort. I think it'll be a good project. Anderson, did you finish? I'm sorry.
No, I'm fine with it. I make a motion, we go ahead and bring it over for you to sign.
Mr. Griffin's made a motion that we approve the letter to the county commissioners. Is there a second?
Yeah.
Second by Mr. Johnson. Any further discussion?
Yeah, I want to ask one thing. I just happened in my old, that looking back section of the paper, I noticed when the athletic committee was first appointed, who were members of it. Now, so Ian Wilkes and Lonnie Roberts are all okay.
There are only two left. And
Ed Wilson's still, he's not
I don't think he's on.
he's not on anymore. Okay,
They're the
I'm
only
fine,
two
they're fine with
surviving
that.
members, yeah.
No problem.
I think that they researched that. There were several
B.B. Wood was
Most of
on
them are
it,
dead.
Bud Manley was on it, Alfred Roberts was on
Alfred
it,
Roberts.
and Ian Mother was on it years ago.
Okay, but I think they researched that pretty well. Got a motion and a second on the floor that we approve the letter to the commissioners entering into this joint agreement. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carried. I'll sign and deliver the letter.
Who seconded the motion?
Mr. Johnson. Eric made the motion and seconded by
Okay.
Mr. Johnson. Okay, move along. Okay, Mr. Purser, you're number 5, the facades of the Downtown Development Authority.
Well, as I mentioned Monday night in the meeting with I'm a member of the Downtown Development Authority, and they asked me to bring to you a recommendation that we enter into a program where we can give facade grants to 2 downtown businesses to approve their the exterior of their buildings, and they recommended that we match whatever they spend up to $5,000
Each.
each.
Okay, and ladies and gentlemen, and council, in case all of you don't know, the attorneys have researched this and found that these building owners can give us a short-term easement agreement.
What we have to do is the SPOS money go to DDA, it'll make a grant, and then the owners will give us a facade easement for 5 years to match basically the grant monitoring, and that way we have an interest that we can spend the money for, so.
I probably Monday night didn't explain it well enough. That was what the intentions were, that the city is not doing this. The city council is not doing this. The Downtown Development Authority is authorized to do such things, and all that the county, the DDA wants to do is ask the county if they will transfer enough of the SPOS money to the DDA to accomplish this. And I don't think it'll be $10,000. We just said up to that. So that's what we're asking.
Wait a minute now, you said the county, are you going to the county?
I'm sorry, city. The city.
I'm
I'm sorry.
I thought to myself, that'd be nice if they'll pitch in too. I was getting encouraged. I was getting really encouraged.
Very good.
Yeah, well, I said, wow, this is good news here. All right, I think we're all clear on this, that we actually give the grant to DDA, and then with the attorney's help, they're gonna get some easements, and of course, maybe as Tommy said, it may not be as much required as we think. But at any rate, whatever's necessary, that we'll take the downtown area with two major business owners there and put a new face on downtown, and I think that's great. I entertain a motion this be done.
Make a motion.
Mr. Bloodworth made a motion that we do this. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by who?
Both of us.
Seconded by Mr. Purser. Any further discussion? Hearing none, call for vote. All in favor of giving the $10,000, up to $10,000 to the DDA, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion is carried. Mr. Purser, I think you've accomplished what you wanted to do.
Thank you.
All right, what about now the roundabouts, Mr. Purser, you're on two items in a row.
Yeah, the Hofstadter and Associates did a preliminary diagram and cost estimate for the two roundabouts that were recommended in a June 2016 study of by the Department of Transportation on safe routes to schools or something like that. Their estimated cost, I sent that, Bernice, I sent you, you didn't print it out.
No, sir.
Okay, well, I've got copies of it, let me just, here. If you just take one and pass it on, there's enough for you too, Ken. And, the bid on one of them was not the bid. The estimated cost on one of them was $303,000. The estimated cost on the other one was $180,000. And this is merely the information that I sent to Brent Mosley with the Department of Transportation. He emailed me back and said it would take several weeks, and they will look and see if they will grant us the funds to do it. Again, if they can't give us the funds, I'm not in favor of doing it. That's the stipulation. We want DOT to see if they can pay for it.
Okay, and adding to this, the other day previously, when this was being discussed and with the problems that we've got over there with traffic, and we do have a major, this council has voted, and we've authorized Mr. Jones with the street department to proceed with four-way stops there. And he is already working on that. And I feel like, I don't know exactly what length of time, he and I looked at a little project a day or two ago where they've got to seal all of the striping and so forth in an area to redo for four-way stops. So we've got a good bit of work to do there. It's going to take a little money, but I think we can wiggle around and accomplish it. So we are in the process now, in the meantime, putting in four-way stops there. All right, any further discussion?
Yes, let me just mention this very quickly. Carl, as he usually does, he did this work at no charge. And if we get the grant, then he will get his engineering fee. But it's not, this was all done free. And secondly, he has, I talked to him, they called for the middle of the thing to have stamped concrete. And you can see it on the, which is just concrete with, makes it look like it's bricks. And so I asked him, I said, can't we just put grass in there to save a little money? He said, yeah, there's a lot of contingencies that they put in there that they're estimating it's gonna cost a lot more than it will, in hopes that DOT will give us as much as we can. So, and my thoughts were, if we put grass in there, the school board, the school system with their horticulture class can maybe help us, didn't you work on that? Is that in your department? when you-
That was my department,
Yeah.
yes.
And maybe they can work on something to do the beauty, and it's a good learning process for them. You see what I'm saying?
It would be a very good project for
Yeah.
them to take on.
So we can say, and another thing, he also has in there, there's sidewalks around the thing. Well, Mayor, as I understand it, there, in our Teach Plus thing, we have some sidewalks going in that area, in the school area, right?
Yeah, well, not right there, but we got.
Well, somewhere around.
I'm hoping we're gonna have sidewalks from school.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We might use some of the Teach Plus money to do the sidewalks. That would save us money.
Absolutely.
So anyway, I just want to mention that.
Okay, he's done a lot of groundwork, and maybe it'll become fruitful. It will be, if we can get the grants to do that, we'll have some, nice, sophisticated, we'll be right uptown with the roundabouts, and I hope we can accomplish that. Meanwhile, we're gonna do the four-way stops. Now, another thing while we're on this, the sidewalks, after that poor lady came in here last week, what was her name?
Miss Jones.
Miss Jones. I want y'all to know that we've done exactly what we told her we'd do. Jeff and I have gone to the bridge, and where this accident, this youngster was hit by an automobile on that bridge. We found that on the town side, not the airport side, the town side of that bridge, there's an area there, a good area, and we're already assembling, trying to assemble materials that we have, that we can go out there and construct a 4-foot sidewalk and handrail so that students will be able to go to school on that bridge. So we are working on that. That's it, that is in process. Okay, anything else there? Let's move on.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
Oh, will we finna vote on this?
No.
No, that's
No,
just,
no.
this is what I sent to, this is a matter of
Oh, okay.
information, I just wanted to send, to show you what I sent to
The reason I was
DOT.
asking, because I know with the school board, if the school board, I'm not asking like money, but jointly with the city and the county, you know, anytime you get these entities working together, they're more apt to help us. As far as letters and things to the state with this, that's why.
Well, I think Tommy's letters indicated that actually all were working together when we
Okay.
submitted this.
And I sent copies of all that to the school
That's
officials
fine.
and to the county officials, and they've all expressed agreement with it, so.
Anything else? Thank you, Dwayne. No, we're just gonna wait to see, what happens. We're gonna go ahead with the 4 ways and hope that it materializes. All right, anything else? If not, we're gonna move on. All right, y'all know that years ago, we applied and got a revolving loan fund with, the USDA. It was, had to do with the food bank, with Second Harvest. And from that, when we got that money years ago, from then until now, we still have $40-something thousand of money that has not been invested in businesses. I began looking probably 3 or 4 months ago, was it Bernice, or maybe a little longer than that, trying to see if we could find somebody that needed that. It's a loan fund, it's not a grant. But it's a low interest loan, and I almost had it put together, but I got a letter, or we did, I didn't get a letter, we got a letter from Department of Community Affairs, I'll get my tongue straightened out in a minute, that if we will refund this money and put it back in the bank, that when we come up with our new application for our local, not LMIG, CDBG, that it'll be worth 5 points to us on that. And by the way, this is the first time now that we'll be applying for a $750,000 grant, not a $500,000. They've increased it. Plus now, the rules have changed, we can apply every year. So this is going to be good. Maybe we can keep dipping into the cookie jar pretty often. But at any rate, I think, and I hope you'll agree with me, that by going ahead and refunding this money, it's not in any account that we can use anyway, except for this single purpose. So as bad as we need money, if we could use it, I might have to see if we can borrow it ourselves, but we shouldn't. But at any rate, I'm just kidding. If we'll refund this money and it's sitting there isolated in its own account, it'll give us 5 points on our CDBG grant, and I think that's the way to go. I entertain a motion that we refund the money. Mr. Johnson made a motion that we refund the money. Is there a second?
Second.
Second and third. Mr. Bloodworth and Mr. Purser. So I think everybody's ready to get rid of it. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We'll take care of that. Okay. I don't know whether you know, I'm sure all of you know that churches have maybe once or twice a year, used to, we've gotten out of the habit a little bit, have what's called a revival. And we have a time where we're on item number 8.
I ain't got nothing to do with revival.
Yes, it has too.
Mr. Prager?
Well, we're on, in case you fellows don't know where we are, we're on item 8. We've had a little revival since Monday night, and have a word of prayer, and we've decided that we're going to live with what we got for a little while and hold off, considering the financial condition of the city, we're going to hold off on these expenditures for a while. This is item number 8 and number 9. Any questions for Chief? Is that all happening in the revival?
We didn't discuss number 9, but I mean, if you want to do that, that's, you the man.
I think considering what I told you about the financial situation, I think we all need to tighten our belt and hang on. And I think with the ad valorem tax coming in at the rate it's coming now, and then after the first of the year, we'll be right close to getting that Georgia Power check. I think if we'll tighten our belts and hang on, I think we'll be better off, and I think we'll look better as managers of the city's property. So I'm going to ask that we just skip over. We're not going to go away with it. Just going to skip over it and let it ride for a while. And we'll bring it up again when we think our position is in a better shape. Any questions?
I think I just want to mention this. There's been some concern about the overtime hours in the police department. We don't hire personnel. Those are going to continue. I just want to point that out.
Well, right now, though, Tommy, in the revival, we got to invest the 2 men that they won't do right now, we're going to invest $20,000 before we get a dime back. And right now, we need to wait on investing the $20,000.
I am glad you put that on the table because it will still be an issue.
Okay, y'all make the decisions, I don't.
I'm talking about the overtime.
Yeah.
I can work with what I got, just don't say nothing about the overtime.
Well,
I mean, I do, I mean, I just to give 24/7 with the people I gotta have, I mean, that's, you're gonna have overtime. I'm doing the best I can do. I think it's got better since you said something too, if you go back and look at it. In fact, I know it's gotten better.
Well, I'm going to continue to ask you to tighten your belt. You know your
I
circumstances.
got it tight, I can't breathe now. I got it.
Okay, y'all are the decision makers. You sitting here for that place. You don't agree, now's the time to speak up and forever hold your peace.
We can table it, move on.
Okay? Why don't we, once you make that before we motion, we table this 2 items.
Make a motion to table item 8 and 9, police department vehicles and hiring of police officers.
Is there a second to this motion?
That,
Second by Mr. Johnson. Any further discussion? Hearing none, call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carried. Let's proceed. I tried to get a hold of that man that said we could get some money. By the way, we're on item number 10, that old landfill last under. A lot of you don't even know where it was, because it happened before you were born. But at any rate, we got another bill, a proposal for some work that's gonna cost about $11,000 out there at that old place. And I've gone to Maddox, and he's helping me get back in touch with the man that told me that he was gonna send me some information on how to get a little bit more money on this thing. And he is out till after sometime after Thanksgiving. So I wasn't able to do a thing on it. But we're going to have to sign the forms, and like the attorney said, we're going to have to swallow the pill, but I sure am going to be slow about swallowing it.
Well, no, I've already received an email asking, has the documents been signed?
We'll sign the documents. We got to, don't have any choice. Any discussion on that? Y'all don't want to help me any at all? Going to fix it? Y'all don't want to moan and groan with me a bit, huh?
This, we He just let us give him the land.
Huh?
Can I just sign the land over to him and be done with it? I just,
I'd do anything, I'll tell you. Yeah, I think we're all in agreement on it. Okay, are you satisfied that we're gonna, this appeal we got swallowed? I'll still try to find us some money. The man said he might could help us, so I'm gonna try. Okay, let's move on. Anything we need, action that y'all need to take on this now?
all right, do we need to authorize you to sign? Make a motion that we authorize
Okay,
you.
authorize me to sign it then.
Eric made the motion.
Huh?
Eric made the motion.
Mr. Griffin made the motion that the council authorized me to sign the agreement with Mr. Futel on the new cost of the landfill. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Bloodworth. Any further discussion? Hearing none, call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carried. Okay, the next item we talked about last week is with Turnip Seed Engineering. As you well know, we contracted with them to do all the GIS mapping of all our water and sewer systems in the city. And in the meantime, every set of notes, old drawings, pieces, ragged as they are, we've given to this group and trying to update and get our utilities located. And it is an awesome, awesome task. Glenn, since you've worked closely with him lately, but more so than I have, why don't you update the council on what all has been done and what you've given them? Come up here, you gotta do that, and give them an update on what all is going on.
They got all the basic information that they need. There's gonna be a lot of corrections. I saw the preliminary thing, there's some errors in there, so we still might sit down and go over that, over the blueprints and stuff, and correct any errors. Some of those old blueprints that we got are 1950s, and they're not real accurate, because the streets changed, the wide, and most of them were dirt back then. But they're at the point they should be soon actually putting it in a program where we can actually pull it up on that. And I'm hoping it's not gonna be very long now, but they're getting close. And I really don't see this done bad.
Well, we just about got it done, we just got to implement it, and I think the two of the invoices that we talked about Monday night was just part of that contract that we've all signed and the payment on that. There was a third one that was in there that when Glenn and I were working with them, and they went back and got all this old material together, and at that time when they started, if you remember correctly, we all were talking about something with the fire chief on the need for new water in the well and another tank. And in that process, with them with all these drawings, and right now, we changed the thing some year or two ago. They were going to run an 8-inch line out to Beasley Forest Products out yonder, and we changed that, anticipating the additional water supply that we were looking to have, to a 12-inch line. But again, it's just stubbed out there, and it needs to be looped. So with Bland and I, and with their engineers, they were going, we asked, they told us, now this is outside of our contract, and we said, well, look, we need to know where the loop is and how it's going to work, and they picked up some additional information. But at any rate, to make a long story short, we've committed them on this invoice of $3,000 over and beyond their contract. And I'm asking you to make a motion that we pay them this $3,000 that Glenn and I decided that we needed to spend.
I made the motion to pay Turnip Seed.
Motion made by Mr. Bloodworth, we paid him $3,000 some odd dollars. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Johnson. Any further discussion?
Yeah, I want to ask, this is not dealing with nothing but the water, this doesn't deal with.
Sewer too, water and sewer.
Water and sewer.
But this has nothing to do with the cemetery where we were doing the lots. I thought all the mapping was gonna take care of that type of thing.
Cemetery lots too?
Yeah, you know,
That's a total separate entity.
it really,
No, it is water and sewer though now.
oh yeah, I know that.
All water and sewer. And let me tell you something, folks. We've got 12-inch, 8-inch, 6-inch, 2-inch water lines all over this town. We don't know where in the world to cut them off, and there ain't no way to find out. but to get you a backhoe or something and dig down and find you a pipe and put you a valve and cut it off and see who that dog was. Now, that is absolutely the fact. And even with all this, we are not out of the woods, but at any rate, we're a lot closer than we were. But as far as this, I don't understand the cemetery, Dwayne, what you talking about?
I was under the impression that we were getting ready to do the cemetery out there on the Livingston Highway that we had problems with, that the mapping and all took care of all of it.
Well, now, let me share something with you. Maybe I thought you knew this. I've already gone out there at no charge and laid out all that new side, and they've got nice maps in there, numbered, and that they're using, and I've already laid that out, and it's being used. I did that stone survey that gave you that.
But one other thing is later on, any of this stuff can be added to this program. I don't care if the cemeteries, every meter location, everything can be
Fire
added.
hydrants.
It can be updated.
Yeah.
And I'm just wanting to ask, this environmental report and everything that we're paying them for and everything, and I may be wrong. I thought that this was being done, it wasn't, I didn't think it was gonna cost us anything. I'm not then, I ain't gonna talk about it, I'm talking about, but we're looking at it right here with the bill for it for $3,600, and I mean, that's what I thought it was gonna, that we're gonna be charged for it. I'm just putting that out there, and I may
all right.
misremember, but I'm just asking.
Okay, let me correct you right now. There's absolutely no cost, and we've got all the letters coming in and the communication with the Corps of Engineers and everything. There's no cost for this. The thing that he's charged us for is the engineering relative to the loop, to the location of the well, and this sort of thing. The environmental thing is in process. It's something that they do for us, the various agencies. And if we were to do any loans with GFA or USDA anytime this year or next year, if we didn't get it in, see, this is where Mr. Sullivan gave this information to us. If you don't go ahead and apply for this, you will not be qualified for anything next year. So they have recommended that this be done, no charge to the city, but it's a result of what they have done.
How's it no charge to the city when we're approving a bill for $3,600?
It has nothing to do with it. This needs
Well,
to.
I mean, that's what he's asking about.
Well-
What you're talking about has nothing to do with what
I
he's asking
understood it
about.
didn't have anything to do with the environmental report.
That's
Yeah,
correct.
That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about $3,600.
It got nothing to do with the environmental thing.
No, we're not talking about the environmental. We're talking about $3,600.
Oh, yeah,
Charge.
well,
That's what the charge says, is for environmental report. And that's why I'm asking, because they're sitting here, I was under the understanding that the environmental report wasn't gonna cost anything, but this is what we're paying $3,600 for, is an environmental report. I mean, I'm looking at the invoice.
This says water system improvements.
that's the documents, like I said, for looping, where it's gonna go, where the well is, getting all of the details so that environmental report, and y'all made the selection. They gave you 3 choices. Where do you want the environmental report and validation to be done? And we selected Plan, what was it, Plan? It was the cheapest one at any rate.
Right, that's the,
But he designed the routes for the loop so that we could ask for an environmental study in that area. The design of the system was what you're paying $3,000 for. The environmental study is for the loop that you selected. And you selected the one that's, I forget what the details were.
well, the one we talked the most about was not another tank at this time, well, but we're gonna be in pretty good shape if we can get from the Gill Street well and even go by the easement we've already got all the way to the treatment plant. We can tie into that and back feed into town on the, I guess that'd be the north side of town. And that's what we're trying, that's the main thing I'm out there, is getting, for the bees that uses a bunch of work one time, everybody from Edgewood Villa on out, they're out of water.
Again, I think, I apologize for not having this clear. But there was 3 possible routes to get the loop made to Beasley's. A, B, and C. The one that Glenn actually came back to us had nothing to do with environmental study. The design of the 3 routes to be able to utilize the loop system.
All right, so we've already gone over this, and that doesn't do the environmental study, we got a motion and a second. I mean, we're beating a dead horse, we can either go ahead and approve it or not. I know we're talking about that.
Well, okay, but now let me also want to be clear, these people may be confused. With the Gill Street well, it's an old well and tank over there that we just had repainted, refurbished and everything, and we finally got approval on putting the well back in service. So we've got an old well now and tank that we're putting back in service. With this design, and then coming up with this loop design, now we will have a loop. And now we are in place, and it's being done. The environmental study for that area is being done at no cost.
Okay, we got a motion and a second for you.
I'm sorry. Okay, motion second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Mr. Purser being opposed. Okay, let's move on to the next item. Ms. Vernice, I'm gonna let you handle number 12.
In your packet, excuse me, Mayor, in your packet, I sent you some information. I actually sent it to our city attorney, Ms. Bennett, reviewed everything, and I believe she may have gotten with you, Attorney Smith, regarding this. But basically, this is supporting the GMA stance on the de-annexation of properties for cities to create new cities. There's a letter from Stockbridge, Georgia expressing their concern, and basically it's a resolution urging the Georgia General Assembly to oppose de-annexation legislation to create new municipalities, providing for severability, repealing inconsistent resolutions, providing an effective date, and for other purposes. And if you read the entire resolution, I would like for the mayor and the council to consider signing this in support of this for the city of Stockbridge. GMA is behind all this, and they serve us very well.
Okay, if you have a chance to study the resolution that's in your packet.
I'll make a motion that we take it and authorize the mayor to sign it.
Motion is made to authorize me to sign the resolution.
And the council members to sign it.
Oh, it's for everybody?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mr. Griffin made a motion that we all sign the resolution, and Mr. Bloodworth has seconded the motion. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I call for the vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carried. Christmas parade is on December the 9th. I entertain a motion that we approve the date and time of the parade.
Make a motion to approve the date and time of Christmas parade.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Griffin. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I call for the vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion is carried. Water sewer adjustments are in your packet. You may have in your little envelope, you've got the check register for the bills this month. Entertain a motion that we approve the water sewer adjustments of the check register.
Make a motion to approve the check register and water and sewer adjustment.
That's items 4, 14, and 15. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Johnson. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I call for a vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
We've got everybody in favor except Mr. Purser. Any explanation? You want to make the explanation on your vote?
Yeah, we're doing good.
Okay, the motion carried. Okay, citizen comments.
Just to give you a progress report on the Veterans Square Park, but I'm going to be asking you for something. I formed a committee for the beautification committee to redo that complete park within the next 12 months. I'm talking about removing the asphalt, and putting down colored concrete. In the process of doing this, y'all were gracious enough to give us the bricks to build our planter, and we thank you for that. We paid Neil Thornton to put them down. We paid James Benjamin to extend the sidewalk in front of the park, and we paid for that concrete. Just to the right as you're facing the courthouse, just to the right of that monument in the square, there's about a 10-foot section of sidewalk that's buckled, which is a hazard for anyone walking down the sidewalk. Now, I want to ask y'all, can the city redo that 10-foot section of sidewalk adjacent to Veterans Square?
Is that the closest, down there toward the service station?
Toward the petrol station?
Yeah, the station. Jeff, have you looked at that?
There's a big buckle, it's a hazard for anyone walking along that sidewalk. Everything from the corner down to the end of the monument, the square,
It's good
is
smooth.
redone. But that one part, there's about 10-foot section there is really buckled up bad.
This must have been years ago, maybe down now, there must have been a tree or something, root out there probably. Jeff, only a couple of sections from breaker to breaker, is that something that you can do in the department to get that up and then get it leveled out and put it back down?
We got the right of way over there to do it.
That's on state,
That's
state right away.
Yeah, that's the only thing about it.
Permits
This
and all
stuff
that.
out here ain't been done because it's on state right of way.
We have to get permits.
You have to get a permit to do it if they allow it. And they've not allowed us to do squat out here, and it's in bad shape.
Good luck.
I just don't want anyone getting hurt going.
Have you made application for a permit on state right away before?
I always went and talked to the man.
State highway
Maintenance
maintenance man?
They take care of it.
And they take care of it. Well, let me ask you to do this. Will you, between now and the time of our next meeting, will you get with them to see if they can handle that for us? If they can't, we'll go to Plan B. Is that suitable with you?
Good.
Okay. We'll get in touch with their maintenance supervisor over there and see if he can handle it. If not, then when we get together again, we'll try to do something about it. Your own, sir.
The Catholic Church out on the back of the highway sent me not really an application, a letter today requesting, they want to have a parade. I guess it's going to be I'm taking it as a Christmas parade. No walking, it'll be all vehicles, so it'll move smoothly. They want to start at Johnson Golf Supply, come down one way, come down Tallahassee, turn at Burger King, come back to Crow Marty, and go back to the Catholic Church. And that's December the 12th, I believe.
Back on 341, back to the Catholic Church?
Right.
When you get on the state highway like that, can we handle that?
They done that last year.
They've done it several years.
We can, as long as they're not walking, we can handle it.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, we can handle it.
Gentlemen, this will,
Yes, I know that they want to have it before the next city council.
next meeting, and we can get a chance to get it on there. I entertain a motion that we approve the Catholic request for a parade.
So moved.
Mr. Purcell made the motion that we approve the parade permit. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Johnson. Any further discussion? Being not, a call for the vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? You can notify them, chief, that they got your permit.
Yes, sir.
All right, anything else?
Yes, sir, I got something.
Yes, sir.
Real quick, just want to give y'all an update on the ladder truck. I went to Alabama last week, looked at it, it just came out paint. Took longer than they thought because if we would have paid about $65,000 more, they could took it all apart, painted it, and put it back together. But they had to paint it without taking it apart takes time. Takes a lot more time, but it's less costly. So we had to get in line and stay in line a little bit longer to get it painted, but it looked real good. We made a few changes, and anything, nothing that cost-wise, just some changes. They're hoping to have it delivered us before December the 9th. So we're hoping to have it before the parade, which we will put it in the Christmas parade this year. So they're working very hard to make that happen. I sent them all the lettering, all that was sent today, so they're gonna proof that and send it back to me. Their art department will look at that and send it back as far as how we're gonna letter it. So we should have it hopefully before December the 9th. Also, each of you probably seen a invitation to our Christmas dinner. You get one of those every year, but it was a little bit different this year. We're going to be honoring one of our volunteer firefighters who's been with the city for 40 years. He's been on the fire department for 40 years. I'm going to learn him at Christmas dinner. I'd rather not that go on right now, because I don't do anything about it. But, but also, we're going to have a guest speaker, and that's going to be the mayor, Randy Toms, from the city of Warner Robins, is going to be speaking at our dinner as well. He's a good friend of mine. He was the chaplain of the Georgia Association of Fire Chiefs. He did give that up about 6 months ago and actually retired from Hazelhurst, is now the new chaplain for the Georgia Association of Fire Chiefs. So he has took that position and come on board with us. So Mayor Thomas is going to come and speak at our dinner. If you've never heard him, he's got a pretty good story about his life, and it's very good. He's told us several times in the association, but he's just going to come talk about his life. Pretty amazing from what he was to where he is today. So I'd like for you to briefly consider to be there. It's December 2nd, 7 o'clock over at the Southside American Life Center. Please consider trying to be there if you can.
Thank you, Charles. Anything else?
Couple of things, Mayor. In reference to the annual Christmas parade to be held on December the 9th, you'll see that I actually laid in front of each of you council members from Ms. Taylor with the Jeff Davis Joint Development Authority and the Chamber of Commerce. They've done a little revamping to the Christmas parade. They've come up with some a release and waiver of liability and indemnity agreement, as well as an application. This is the first year that they are actually having entrance fees for the Christmas parade. And there's information on there. This is something that the council needs to be aware of, especially with what happened in previous years. And that's just a matter of information. Second,
While you're there, before you leave that,
yes, sir.
This Andrea Taylor has just come on board the last week or two. She took Edie Copeland's place out with the Joint Development Authority, and also she's taking Bonnie Hewlett's place. She's got a dual role of Executive Director of the Chamber and Executive Director of the Joint Development Authority. This lady, immediately when she found out that we had a pending lawsuit about a child falling off of a Christmas float out there, that's still in the works. She had the experience. She said, well, do y'all have, it's a small interest fee, almost nothing, but with that fee, signing this agreement, somehow or another with it can alleviate some of the problems with lawsuits. And she's instituted this, and she hasn't been here 2 weeks yet. So I think that's pretty good. I give her an A for it. Okay, go ahead.
Also, I know I've mentioned it to some of you council members. I will be leaving next Wednesday for vacation. I'll be flying out of here to Texas. I will not return until Tuesday night, December the 28th. We will have payroll done. I need the supervisors to get me the information by Monday afternoon so that I can make sure that I have my people paid and ready to go. If y'all need me, I will have my cell phone, but unless it's an emergency, please don't. I need a vacation.
You are coming back.
Oh, yes, sir. There ain't no way I'd stay in Texas. They speak Spanish too much out there.
Did you say December 28th?
No, November.
She did. You
28th.
said December.
Oh, I did?
That's why I said,
Yeah. Jeff, do you really want to go there?
Yes, you live a life there.
All right, so much for that. So much, we did have a little fun. Thank you. That gave us a little laugh. Okay, any mayor and commissioners, anybody else?
Yeah, is this mayor and commissioner?
Yeah.
Just married, so I think Sonia Miller is the new executive director of the chamber, not Ms. Taylor. But second, about 2 months ago, Jeff, and I can't remember if you were here or not, I had some citizens in my ward that were concerned about the lack of drainage on Charlton Street. Were you in that game? And I noticed nothing's
We
been
went
done.
over there.
Excuse me,
We went over there.
but you didn't do
The
anything?
pipes was there. You can see all the way through.
Well, okay. Their yards are flooding, and you'll get it next. Their yards are flooding when it rains. Okay.
Anything else? Okay, I think we've got a little session, Mr. Attorney, we've got to handle an executive session. Entertain a motion, we go into executive session.
Make a motion to go to executive
Mr.
session.
Griffin made a motion to go to executive session, is there a second? Second by Mr. Johnson, all in favor say aye.
What's the reason for personnel look at?
We won't be gone long, he tells us.
Shit, they're on there, still.
Not long, here.
Thank you very much. Thank you for that.
Didn't you do it so I don't mess it up?
Entertain a motion, gentlemen.
I think she'll burn it on the front executive session, your regular session.
Motion made to come back to the regular session, is there a second? Second by two of them, Bloodworth and Johnson. All in favor say aye. We're back in regular session. In executive session, the council agreed to two items, and I'll take care of them now at this time, or we will. I move that the city no longer be responsible for carrying insurance or otherwise providing medical coverage other than as required by COBRA on any employee who is discharged from employment, withstanding such an employee may then be receiving insurance benefits, provided the benefits are not as a result of a work-related injury. Is there a second to this motion?
Second, sir.
Second by Mr. Purser. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I call for the vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion is carried. We have a second motion. I move that the council direct the chief of police to proceed with the termination of his employee who is no longer able to fulfill his employment duties as a result of injuries he received in an accident unrelated to his employment, since there is no other available position that he could fill with the police department. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by who? Mr. Purser. Is there further discussion relative to the termination of this employee? Hearing none, call for the vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion is carried. Mr. Johnson?
So move.
Mr. Johnson, second. Adjourned, second by Mr. Bloodworth. All in favor say aye. Aye. We're adjourned. I guess I need to do that.
Get that on, you want to do it?
I can get it, but. Pretty much. They do.
You want it up
like this, you said, put it down.
I don't, but I appreciate the offer. We still need to have lunch.
That's what we do. You get rid of it. John, I had a bowl, I got really big container to put it in.
You wrote it for that.
Ken, there's a little of that stew left if y'all want it. You want a bowl?
I'll eat some of it. Right, tonight I'm full, brother.
He's fixing to, you see, you want to put some beef stew. You fix to get it out, John?
In a minute.
It's the beef stew back there that we've had for lunch. It's still hot in the crock pot. Can you eat supper?
No, sir, but, my wife, I didn't have time yet. She's got something waiting on when I
I
get there.
got mine at home.
But I appreciate it, really do.
I appreciate it.
If I didn't have orders previous to yours, I would definitely do that.
No,
And
it's
no
no.
offense, she does look pretty good. I said, no offense, but, the other, one, she does look pretty
Thank you,
good.
darling.
Oh, yes. Yeah, you better take care of that. I'll agree with you. Okay, buddy.
All right, God bless you.
God bless you.
See y'all.
Bye. Have a good Thanksgiving.
Y'all too.
Y'all know, hey, John, Randy, Ken, you know we've got dinner tomorrow now.
That's right.
Thanksgiving dinner tomorrow at noon, if you want to come out to the civic side of the golf course and eat.
I've already told you about it.
Okay.
Andy buy something to cook with, retired teachers.
You all right?
And
You're disturbed about something.
Well, something worries me to this, why I let him worry me like that?
He knows how to get under your crawl.
I think he does. Why in the world he wants to spend all this time leaving, not get any better, and I've done everything I could to kiss his ass every way I could, but
Mayor, you can only kiss so much.
well, I'll shake it off and go on. You want to get that too, baby?
No, sir.
Okay, I fit to clean up back there.
Okay. I know that was hard for y'all.
Hmm?
That's hard for y'all to have to deal with that back there too.
Yeah.
I was nervous talking tonight about my vacation.
If you get ready to leave before I get through, let me know and I'll set the alarm in the back.
Okay. He went to the back.
what's that?
He went to the back.
Is it good?
Yes, sir, it is.